Hi, it's me, Renjit. If you enjoyed this episode, I request you to leave us a review. This will help us to reach more great podcast listeners like you. Thank you. Hi, and welcome to FS Brew. FS Brew is the region's first podcast focusing on all things insurance and Insurtech here in the UAE and the wider Middle East. I'm Renjit Philip. I advise startups on their business models, go-to-market strategies, and unit economics. I'm deeply interested in the Insurtech, DeFi, and FinTech space, and I'm very happy to host the show with you here.
Hello, I'm Vidya, and I'm the founder of Forward, a startup that works with insurance companies on digital marketing and digital transformation initiatives.
So Vidya, who are we meeting today?
Renjit, we're meeting today Matthieu and Talal. They are from Royal Trust Technologies, is the Insurtech startup that has launched pet insurance in partnership with Al Badba Insurance here in the UAE. So their aim is to build digitally relevant products, and here they have launched with pet, hoping to provide a great experience for all the pet owners here in the UAE. Now, Matthieu and Talal combined together have about 15 years of experience in the insurance industry. They come predominantly from the brokerage side of the field. Matthieu is from France. He is graduated from London School of Economics, and Talal is from Dubai, and he's graduated from IMD. Welcome to FS Brew, Matthieu and Talal. It's so good to have you both here. To kickstart, tell us, how did you get into insurance and why did you build Royal Trust Technologies?
Hi, Vidya. Thank you for having us today on this beautiful morning with wonderful weather.
Yes.
So why did we get into insurance? I mean, personally, I was pushed into insurance. I think nobody gets into insurance by choice. You somehow lead to insurance.
Correct.
But it's been quite some time now. Jointly together, we have over 15 years of experience in the market, not just in the UAE, but regionally and in Europe. Royal Trust was a baby that was born between us. We saw a lot of pent-up demand for choices on personal lines. The market here typically is, in the region here and in the UAE in specific, is more focused on commercial lines, insurers and brokers, and focusing more on traditional products. So we saw that was a gap in the market. With our experience, with our know-how, with feet on the ground, that we could challenge and tackle.
Very good. Excellent. Obviously, this is a very niche kind of a product. If you would look at it, from the UAE market, obviously people focus on motor, health, etc. But what would you say is the business case for building a pet insurance product? And is it just an entry into home and then motor or other products? What are your views, Matthieu and Talal?
Thanks, Ranjit. That's a very good question, actually. It is pet insurance is a niche market, but it's a growing niche. We do believe there is a huge demand for pet insurance. The population of UAE, people from all over the world. A lot of people used to have their dogs and cats insured back home. And when they come to UAE, they are also expecting the same kind of services, product, and peace of mind to have with their pet. We did start with pet insurance because it's totally untapped, and we do believe there is a big potential for that. But definitely, of course, motor, home insurance, massive segment, but very competitive as well. So we do like to focus on untapped segment of the insurance market in UAE. We do after pet insurance.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to add also on Matthieu's point that the pet insurance today, there's a lot of pent-up demand, as Matthieu said. And we, coming into the market here, into the very competitive insurance market, we wanted to do two things. First off is to provide an innovative product, not just the status quo, and also an innovation in the customer journey. Make it more easy, making it more accessible for the customer, more transparent, less requirement to speak to somebody, to wait for information, so to reduce in these timelines also. So these two innovations coming in together under the umbrella of the pet insurance to bring something new to the market.
Got it. Thank you. That's great. And you talked a little bit about the importance of localization, and obviously now you have a partnership with Al-Watba as an insurance company. So how is that going? Are there any early statistics in terms of volumes of either search or engagement or sales that you can talk us through?
Yeah, sure. Al-Wathba, as everybody knows, is a long-standing insurance company that has been in the market for quite some time. Yep. Has a very strong name in the market, leaders in terms of personal line business. They have a very high number of personal line customers, and they have a very strong online platform. So that was a match made in heaven, to be honest. We are looking towards the same vision for the future in terms of identifying the importance of giving proper value of product and product delivery to the individual customer, where most of the other insurance companies are kind of turning a blind eye and focusing on the bigger piece of the pie, which is the commercial lines. In terms of numbers and figures, I'd rather keep that on the side for now, but I can tell you that it's been progressing better than we expected. Traction is a lot more than what we have expected. Obviously, it's a new product, so there's an educational aspect to it, on educating the customer, building the awareness for the customer. But I think the advantage that we have is that coming into this product post-COVID, we're seeing that people are a lot more comfortable to purchase online, especially coming to insurance. The access to people through the online platforms and whatnot has become something of the norm. We're doing this call today remotely, which has become something very normal in comparison to pre-COVID times, which would be a little bit odd. So that's proven an advantage for us. And that fits in line with our strategy, which is to give the customer what they want in a very transparent way, without them requiring to come back and to follow up and to ask questions. Nice, simple, and quick. Nobody wants to waste too much time speaking to insurers anymore. But they have to if they don't find the information. When we started in the brokerage in our previous life, and customers would want brokers to sit down with them and to talk to them and to explain to them the product and whatnot. But today, people don't have that time, and they don't have that interest, and they do know about insurance. So this is a new product. We're educating the customers on the product. We have a very positive traction. We're getting a significant number of visits per day with a significant number of policies that we are issuing on a daily basis, and we're happy.
And again, like Talal said, more importantly, the feedback from our customers is extremely good. They are very happy to have that kind of new experience coming into UAE with a very easy customer journey. They are all able to issue a quote within 3 minutes only, and buy it right away. So we get a very positive feedback from them. So,
and I think what Matthieu just said is because of our focus from the beginning, our strategy on this was not to focus on sales. Sales will come. Yeah. What we need to focus on is the value that we are providing to the customers, to the community as a whole. And that value that we provide in return will bring the sales once the customer understands it, realizes it, and sees whether or not there's competition in the market.
Particularly on the pet insurance segment, which is a very emotional, so you need to be there for the client, to be always available, to give the good advice, to explain exactly what is it about, and that's what we have been trying to do so far.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And then you bang on there to create that great customer experience journey and then creating value for the customers. Talk us through some of the customer preferences that you picked up in the survey when it came to pet insurance, and which have translated that into the journey that's there now. It'd be great to get some insights there.
Sure. Look, the customer expectation, it's more translated now into the product itself. When we build the coverage, we really, we put all the insights that was in that survey to try and replicate it into the coverage. So that's why we And that might be a difference compared to other companies doing or planning to do pet insurance. We have a very extensive coverage in the sense that, of course, illness, accident is covered, but we do also cover liability, which is important, particularly if you have a dog and you are living in an area with many people, or And we do also cover preventive care. We have a layer for preventive care, so that was something that was very important for us. That the client will know that if he buys a policy, even if the dog or his cat is not doesn't get ill or doesn't have any particular disease, he will be able to use the policy at least once with that preventive care. And that's why we developed some nice and cool features like home vaccination. So we have a home vaccination module on our platform that the client can book very easily from his dashboard.
Right.
Nice. Renjit is a pet parent, so he understands all of these sentiments, I suppose.
Absolutely. And we have a cat and a dog, and a dog that we adopted during the COVID time, as so many other people did.
So coming back to the pet insurance that was launched many years back, as you know, it didn't do well for various reasons. I think high claims ratio and whatnot. Can you talk us through why? What specifically went wrong at that point when pet insurance was launched, and what is it being done differently this time to make sure we have success with that?
Sure. Very, very good question. I would say it's not only that it didn't do well, it did terribly bad actually at the time. Obviously, before getting ourselves into the pet insurance segment, we reviewed very carefully what happened, why did it fail that much, and try, of course, not to replicate that. So I believe first the main problem was the first problem was that the companies that launched pet insurance at the time, it was 10 years ago, approx, they actually just did a copy paste of the existing product that used to be sold in Europe, in Sweden, in France, in UK. Right. We took a totally different approach by asking first pet parents in UAE what was their request, what was the most important features to be covered in the product, and being pet parents ourselves, I mean, we knew what we would like to have covered in UAE, but we also did quite an extensive survey that was answered by more than 500 pet parents in UAE. Wow. And it really gave us a very precise understanding of the needs of the UAE markets. Another issue that was faced by the companies that launched pet insurance back in the days is that they didn't work with a closed, customized vet network. You could go to any vet clinics in UAE from Abu Dhabi to Ras Al Khaimah, paid for the services, and then get reimbursed. I believe that was not the best approach, so that's why we decided to work with a customized vet network that we carefully selected and handpicked all the vet clinics that are now part of our network based on their level of services, quality, prices, level of ethics as well. So we can quite easily assess the validity of the claims when we receive some claims. Working with no network doesn't allow you to assess that validity of the claim, and also it really kind of fosters some frauds in some cases. So that's what brings a lot of overconsumption in the policy and high loss ratio at the end of the day. Another point would be that I believe back in the days the pet community was much smaller, and also a bit less educated about insurances, the benefits you can get out of it, what you can't do. So that's something quite different. And also, to sell pet insurance, it's very different than selling motor insurance, home insurance. I mean, you need to have a deep knowledge of the pet ecosystem, and that's what we have been trying to do over the past months, to understand, to get in touch with the full ecosystem in a 360 approach, really. So we are really in the middle of that ecosystem. So that's also a big difference. A salesperson that has been used to sell home or motor insurance for 10 years, it will cost him a bit of adaptation to be able to find the good words in front of a pet parents to sell such product. So I believe that's why it failed big time back in the days, and that's what we've been trying to do differently that time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So for the pet piece, it could be from vaccinations to pet foods to toys. Is that an appealing area for a company to get into like yourselves? And also, please speak about the broader pet insurance market as well.
Sure, it's a very good question. I think when it comes to the pet insurance in specific, the ecosystem is very important. Pet owners and pet parents take very good care of their pets most of the time, and it's the fastest or one of the fastest growing industries right now, the pet industry. So what we've done to cater to that community is creating, as Matthieu said, the 360 approach. And that 360 approach is basically not just providing an insurance product, not just putting that insurance product on a very appetizing tech platform that's easy to use, but also going a step further and creating a community of pet-related services where we have provide offers and discounts to our customers. Now, moving on to the ecosystem or the pet industry or the insurance industry for the pets as a whole in the region, in the Middle East, and we're talking people in the region. That pent-up demand is also there around, and it would be interesting to see what we will do next on that.
Yeah, just to add to what Talal was just saying, what we found out also is quite interesting. I mean, one might think that pet insurance is more of an expat-driven segment of the insurance industry. Actually, every time we go to Riyadh or Jeddah, we find new pet shops, new vet clinics that are opening up. So we do believe, and we do see some kind of cultural shift among youngest generation of local people from the GCC, particularly in Saudi, you know. So we do believe that there will be also a growing demand in countries like Saudi Arabia, in terms of pet insurance as well.
Fabulous. You know, my next question is, in the UK and the US, right? Pet insurance has been plagued with high claims ratio. It's notoriously famous for that. Now, this is usually not a business that turns into a profit quite quickly. So what is the story in the UAE, and how are you managing, this aspect of claims here?
Look, I believe it's all about finding the good balance between a product that is interesting and sexy for the client, and also sustainable in the long run from an insurance perspective. Our product is quite wide in terms of coverage offered to the client, but at the same time, it has several gatekeeping measures to avoid any overconsumption. Of course, we work with an age limit, so we can't get new clients with that have a pet older than 8 years old. Pre-existing conditions are not covered. Also, the fact, like I mentioned earlier, that we work with a customized vet network. It really and all those vet clinics are people that we trust. We know they are reliable. It allows us to have a bit more peace of mind in terms of overconsumption or high loss ratio. We are quite confident with that aspect. And also, even our platinum clients, we did keep a small portion of copayment, 5%, but just to remind them that it's not like a credit card that you will use, you know. Yeah. So all those features associated with an education efforts to the client, we do believe our product will be sustainable in the long run.
I think to add to Matthieu's point also is that if you look at the UK or the Europe in general and the US, pet insurance has been around for quite some time, many decades, and with that comes competition. So right now, this is a greenfield market where there's a lot of potential, a lot of possibility, and by underwriting the proper product with the proper pricing of the market that we are in, which we have the capacity to do and we have done, you're able to mitigate as much risk as possible in terms of your loss ratio exposure. We're quite positive and hopeful. And as Matthieu said, even the platinum policy has a copay, and surprisingly, the platinum policy is the fastest moving policy for us right now. So that was to our surprise.
Very good, very good. And staying internationally a bit, if you look at let's say Lemonade in the US or VFox in Europe, many of these insurtech companies start with a monoline product approach, and then they master the distribution and the business model, and then they start to evolve and change their business model to become a full stack insurance company. What do you think are the pros and cons of such a model in the Middle East?
I mean, the cons would be that the market, of course, is not as big in UAE than in Europe, in the US. But we do believe, we are quite convinced by that approach as well. And I believe Lemonade and companies like the French Insurtech Luco that just acquired Koya, the German Insurtech. Those companies are really great source of inspiration for us. And it's clearly the target we want to reach in terms of customer experience, in terms of mastering the distribution and building wonderful products for the client. So we do think that's a good approach to start with a product, to grow that product, mastering all the aspects of from the distribution to the product to the claims, and then eventually expand to other interesting insurance products.
And I think the market size that we are focusing on also is similar to the market size of the US. So yes, we are confined with different borders, different regulatory requirements and whatnot. But these are things that can be tackled and achieved with time. So in terms of the market size, we're looking at quite a similar market size, different go-to-market strategies for each area probably. But again, historically, the Middle East has been takes success factors from Europe and the US and then deploys it, customizes it to the region. And we're not reinventing the wheel. We don't have to and we don't need to. It's a proven success in different markets. It's worked. The market schematics are the same. The people, the customers are the same. The requirements are the same. So deploying that in the right fashion, catering to the right market, should be successful on that. So there's definitely more pros than cons.
Yep.
Awesome. So then in that case, the obvious question is, does Royal Trust plan to launch other products? If so, are you able to talk us through any of those?
So the broad answer is definitely, but with that comes, when is the right time? What is the right product? And in which geographic location are we talking about? It's definitely appealing because, as I said, our high-level strategy and our mandate is to bring to the market innovation in product and innovation in product delivery. So having innovation in the product is expanding into other markets or other products, and innovation in the product delivery is doing that by directly reaching our customer without any difficulty.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So you've given us a broad view, but you're not getting into specifics. So we get that. Thank you very much.
Definitely. It's something in the personal lines.
Sure.
We're more focused on personal lines. So okay. as we said initially, that there's a pent-up demand, not just for pet insurance, but there's a pent-up demand to provide value on personal line products today. Majority of the market, again, as I mentioned, is focusing on the commercial business. Insurers are very focused, traditional insurers are focused on hitting the targets, building the portfolio, minimizing the risk. So we are coming in on a different lane, kind of trying to build that value. So value for us is very important.
Always with dual targets to bring both innovation in terms of the product itself and in terms of product delivery. That's key for us. That's really our motto, that double innovation aspect.
Perfect.
Okay. Great.
Got it. That's great. And actually, that's a great point to kind of bring this great podcast episode to a close. But before we end, is there a message that you would like to send to anyone in the industry, in the UAE or wider Middle East? We are happy to take that, and you can use this as a platform to spread that message.
I think it will be nice to see people competing or competition with what we are trying to achieve in our strategy. I think competition is healthy and it gives us the drive. I mean, we enjoy when there is somebody competing on market share on a different product and whatnot. So it would be nice to see successful Insurtechs, insurance companies compete within the same realm, because that would actually probably give us the chance to grow and to challenge ourselves.
Yeah.
And to deliver even better quality of services to our clients, which is what matters the most for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much for chatting with us. It was lovely to catch up with you both on a subject that I think is growing.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you.
All right.